Flushing Meadows Park by the Unisphere.
Would you like to tell us about this event that's happening?
Oh, sure. Just the other day, on the other side of the number 7 train, the mayor showed up, City Field, and announced that he was going to give the millionaire ball players of the billionaire owners a cutout and exemption from the vaccine mandate. And yet he dissed and dismissed all the civil servants who had been fired and had been put on the shelf. Said there was no chance they'd be hired back, no chance they'd get back pay. So it's a slap in the face of working class people to the benefit of the millionaire ball players and billionaire owners who do nothing for this city other than take our money. So I'm here to support the workers, as I've been all throughout the campaign that I had for mayor. We're the only large city that still has a private employer mandate for businesses that have 100 workers or more. And it's outrageous. We just need to roll back mandates for everybody. For the civil servants in the private sector, for the millionaire ball players, get everybody back to normalcy, without which New York City will continue to lag behind the rest of the country as we are now.
What do you think should happen for people who have already lost their jobs?
Hi everyone, can I have your attention please?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Nicole Kipralov. I'm Councilmember Vickie Paladino's Chief of Staff. I'd like to thank all of you for coming here today. I know it's a bit chilly, so thank you so much for making it out. And now I'd like to introduce Councilmember for New York City Council District 19, Vickie Paladino.
Good morning, New York. Nice to be here in the center of Queens with the Unisphere behind me that represents us and who we are. Right here today, we're here to represent a simple word. It's called freedom. I'm here today standing with what I like to call the backbone and the heartbeat of New York City. We've got our firemen. We've got our policemen, we've got our teachers, we've got our MTA employees, and the list goes on. We have our medical workers, each and every one of you who signed on to this job some 10 years, 15, 20 years ago. You were there when the pandemic was at its worst. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart, I thank each and every one of you. Now today, we are here to say to the Mayor of New York, who I have a great deal of respect for, Mayor Adams. Mayor Adams, you inherited this disgusting mess that we're in. We have a city that was under siege for 8 years. It was taken apart brick by brick by a mayor that I believe actually hated this city. You guys showed up each and every day for work when it was at its worst. And how were you rewarded? You were rewarded with a pink slip. Because some of you here chose not to get vaccinated. You sought out religious and medical exemptions. Some were seen through, others weren't. Some of you are still battling it in court. But I want you to know, Mayor Adams, you could come out a hero today because we would like to see each and every one of our civil servants, the average Jane and Joe that make up this city, back to work. Before I go any further, I'm joined here today by my fellow City Council member, Ina Vernicoff. Ina is here from Brooklyn. She serves with me on the City Council, and I couldn't be more proud to have her here. Here you go, Ina.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Councilmember Paladino. My name is Ina Vernicoff. I am here all the way from Brooklyn. I represent the 48th Council District in Brooklyn, and I came all the way down here to Queens because this is so incredibly important to all of us. Look, I have to tell you, I've met the mayor and his team several times. I've spent quite some time with them discussing the issues of my district and the people of the city of New York. And I have to tell you that I really believe that this mayor wants to do the right thing. He wants to clean up the city. He wants to make it safer for all of us. He wants to bring back our booming economy, and he wants to put people of this city back to work. When it comes to mandates, understandably, the people of the city are divided. A lot of people want to keep the mandates, and a lot of people do not. So I think we have a pretty simple common sense solution to all of this. For those of you who want to keep the mandates, go ahead and get vaccinated. Get vaccinated 2 times, 3 times. But for those of you who do not want the mandates and do not want to get vaccinated, you should have a personal choice not to get vaccinated. Last week, this mayor took a step in the right direction when he peeled off the mandate from professional athletes. But we cannot, it's not scientific, it's not science to peel off the mandate from an athlete, but not from a teacher. To exempt an athlete, but not a police officer, not a fireman, not a city worker, not anyone. And it is discriminatory against those who make a personal health choice not to get vaccinated. Those people, all of you, whoever does not want to get vaccinated still needs to put bread on your table. You need to support your families. You got families to feed. You should not now be fired because of your personal health choice. Teachers, cops, city workers, all of you worked without PPE through the pandemic and risked your lives, and you should not be fired now. And I really hope the next step for this mayor is to exempt everyone, city workers, cops, teachers, anyone who does not want to get vaccinated. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you all.
Thank you, Ina. That was really well said. Thank you. We're going to start first with introducing one of New York's bravest. Please come up to the front. Maurice, Karen, Sophie.
Fellow New Yorkers, good morning. I am Firefighter Maurice Wiggin. I introduce myself with my official civil servant title because I am proud to be a New York City firefighter. I was born to be a firefighter. My dream was to serve and protect this city that I was born in, the city that I was raised in, the city that I love. One of the happiest days of my life is when I graduated Proby School. I wear my badge and uniform with great honor. And I use my platform not only to operate in the field, but to serve as a pillar in my community and to serve as an inspiration to my peers and others. On February 11th, 2022, I received a letter of termination from the department that I dedicated my life to. I was completely devastated. It was as if overnight, I was no longer qualified to do the job that I trained my whole life for. Mayor Adams believed that we are a minority. Mayor Adams believed that he can overlook us. But we are not mere statistics. We are New Yorkers. Our stories matter, our families matter, and our sacrifices should matter. We are the men and women that gave blood, sweat, and tears to support this city through its darkest hour. Early 2020, our beloved city was threatened. But we first responders, without hesitation, responded. Without knowing the global magnitude of the threat, we responded. With no details of the long or short-term risk that was entailed, we still responded. We responded with little to no personal protective equipment. And we did so with pride and dignity. Most importantly, we did it with love. And the citizens of New York reciprocated that love. But now politicians choose to divide us. The politicians chose to make an elite class of New Yorkers that can earn a living, while the rest of us suffer in despair. The mayor recently stated in his exemption is specifically for individuals performing their craft anywhere in the city. Well, I'm sorry if our skill set is not entertaining, but to the contrary, the citizens of this great city call us on their worst days. We do not use our craft to entertain. We use our craft to protect and save lives and property. Mayor Adams, how can you sleep at night while taking such a hypocritical stand and promoting such division in this great city? What makes our craft less valuable than entertainers? Do we not deserve the same dignity and decency as our entertainers? These hypocritical policies pose as a threat to our liberty, a threat to our democracy, and a threat to our God-given freedoms. Today, we are seeking restoration to our fundamental rights, our medical liberties. Mayor Adams, give me the ability to feed myself and my family. Mayor Adams, give me the ability to educate my daughter. And Mayor Adams, please give me the chance to live the American dream right here in New York City. Put us back to work.
Good morning. My name is Karen Rosado, and I'm a paramedic who worked for FDNY for 10 years before I was terminated February 11th. Since the overreaching mandates, I begin to see the division it has created. I was not allowed to eat in restaurants, keeping me from celebratory events with my friends and my family. I wasn't allowed to work. I was placed on leave without pay, and I was told I could not work any other gainful employment. I've never experienced such a division personally or systematically. I'm struggling financially, on the edge of losing my home and my car, while other bills are sitting on the back burner. I'm struggling mentally, knowing the career I built was just taken from me. And I'm struggling emotionally. While going through this process, I lost a family member and a friend, two of my biggest supporters in this fight, not to COVID. Now I'm watching everybody else return to their normal lives, getting their jobs back. Mandates are dropped for some, but not for all. And yet an example has been made out of us. Why? We were out there while most of New York City was able to safely isolate at home, while most jobs were given the option to work from home. We as EMS did not have that option. We put in extra time and extra days to serve our communities and keep them safe during fearful times. We were out there when the risk was unknown to ourselves and our families. So Mayor Adams, we as FDNY, we perform life-saving operations on a day-to-day basis. So if you're willing to lift mandates for all performers, you need to lift the mandates for our life-saving, performing heroes too. Thank you.
It's brick out here. Every New York City. Every New York member knows what brick means, and if you're from New York, you never did this for New Year's Eve, right? We don't do that. Good morning, and thank you for being here today. My name is Sophie Medina. I'm a New York City firefighter and one of the founders of Bravest for Choice. Bravest for Choice is an organization founded by vaccinated and unvaccinated firefighters, officers, and EMS personnel. We are not anti-vaxxers. We are opposed to the mandates, and we believe that every person has the right to medical privacy and choice. We currently have lawsuits in place to put an end to the unethical mandates that are currently threatening our livelihoods. Tell you a little about myself. I'm a proud child of this city. I was born and raised to an immigrant family that's multiracial and multicultural. I've lived a life of service to my country while serving in the Marines, to my international community as a United Nations security officer, and to my city as a firefighter for almost 14 years. My partner is also a New York City firefighter. He's been on since 2005, and he's been recognized by the department for his actions during 2 separate fires in Brooklyn during the pandemic. Both of us worked in our firehouses throughout the pandemic, responding to COVID calls in addition to every other emergency that firefighters normally respond to. 24 hours on, 24 hours off. We would only see each other at the change of our shifts, as one of us was coming home and the other was leaving to work. It was a scary time for us, but we pushed through that fear and we served our communities while raising our children and teaching them the value of overcoming fear and doing what is right and what is not always easy. We've both been placed on involuntary leave without pay and are being pushed out of the job that we love simply because this city is not respecting our beliefs and concerns. Under de Blasio, the city has made a mockery of our EEO system. We've received blanket denials of many members' religious and medical exemption requests, and with the blatant coercion and bribery used to force many into compliance. The reasons for our denials have been that they may cause an undue hardship for the department. Yet the city paid thousands of people up to $500 each as incentives to get the shot. To say that this was a condition of employment and that we knew the rules is untrue. The firefighters and EMS workers who are being forced out are veteran professionals with years of experience. The UFA and the UFOA, our unions, have never agreed to new conditions of employment, and no such condition of employment has ever existed for this vaccine or even the flu vaccine. And when it is suggested that we can be replaced by new hires, understand that the experience of a veteran first responder simply cannot be replaced. Years of training and knowledge of your area and equipment would be lost, and taxpayer money would be wasted. City workers shouldn't feel like we're expendable. Morale is low at the ranks. The mayor says those who complied and took the vaccine are happy because they kept their jobs. But I can honestly say that many felt coerced and would have never gotten the jab if they didn't have to. Many others are experiencing adverse effects and are afraid to speak out, or they're being ignored when they do. With the lifting of the mandates for professional athletes and performers, we can see the hypocrisy in the rules. If the mandates were unfair for the players, they are unfair for the city workers who were essential during the pandemic. We should expect fairness. We deserve to keep our jobs. It's painfully clear this is a two-tier system and we are on the bottom. And while I'm angered by this, I'm glad that the hypocrisy has been exposed. And there are more lies that need to be exposed. The ramifications of the mandates did lead to firehouse companies being closed or understaffed during fatal fires. Response times were delayed. Mayor de Blasio lied. Building inspections were neglected because units were redirected to enforce COVID rules instead. And 17 lives were lost in a Bronx fatal fire in the very building that should have been inspected. That's right. We've had five firefighters, fire officers, die in 4 months due to medical episodes in a firefighter as young as 31 years old. This is unprecedented and it is not normal. We know that the vaccine can stop you from spreading and getting COVID. New York City needs to move on and catch up with the rest of the world in understanding where we are today. Every city agency and employees worked through the pandemic and risked our lives and our safety. We didn't have the choice to stay home. And explain how the MTA and corrections under Governor Hochul continue to work with no mandate while still working in this city under de Blasio. We can't follow political science. Political and financial gain has influenced the decisions of public safety, not science. First responders are no more a threat to the public than the rich and the powerful gathering in huge stadiums and indoor theaters. Our work is no less important than professional athletes or live performers. The hypocritical, irrational, and unfair COVID policies need to end. Reinstate and compensate essential workers. Mr. Mayor, you now have the opportunity to realign yourself with the backbone of this city and leave behind the terrible policies put in place by the worst mayor this city has ever seen. Thank you for your time. Please look us up at bravestforchoice.org where you can donate.
Okay, everybody. Next up, I want to introduce to you an NYPD law enforcement officer. Come on up. Understand, this young woman has never spoken before a crowd before. So her heartfelt story, you know, when I put this together, this was about the forgotten men and women. This is not something that was well rehearsed. This is coming from people's hearts and their souls. So I give you our law enforcement officer. Here you go.
Thank you, Vickie. Thank you so much. Thank you for organizing this for us. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to mention my name, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the New York City Police Department. I am speaking as an individual, as a human being who has dedicated a total of 18 years working for the city of New York since the age of 19. I represent all the men and women standing here today who for the past several months have been fighting against this erroneous vaccine mandate endlessly. This has tormented our lives. We don't stop thinking about this, thinking about the fact that we are being pressured or lose our jobs. As a mother of 2 children, this is devastating. We don't deserve this after all our hard work and dedication to this city. There is still a mandate placed on us. There are still terminations taking place. There are still thousands and thousands of us waiting for our exemption appeals. There are approximately close to 5,000 policemen and women waiting still. But what many don't know is the amount of experienced people resigning under duress on a daily basis to protect their pensions. From March 14th to yesterday, we had a total of 165 policemen and women of all ranks put in their papers. 95 of those were resignations under duress, and couldn't complete their full 20 years of service.
Talk about it.
During the months of November and December, I saw numerous amounts of fully vaccinated people calling out from work with COVID. I saw fully vaccinated people who were recently vaccinated due to the mandate calling out with COVID. Luckily, many of us standing here today were there to help with the shortage. Our line of work requires us to stay in shape and to be able to run and endure increased heart rates during physical activities. We are being mandated to take a vaccine that can cause cardiac and blood clotting issues, leading to sudden death. The FDA released a document on March 1st listing several adverse reactions to the vaccine. This is why we should be allowed to choose for our bodies.
Yeah.
Woo! Our bodies are sacred to ourselves and not to anyone else. Mayor Eric Adams, I ask that you remove all mandates.
Yes.
We know enough by now to understand that this is not necessary. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, everybody. Next up, I'm happy to announce Trammell, member of the MTA. Let's hear it for the MTA.
Thank you, Vickie. Good morning, everyone. I said good morning, New York. If I look a little tired, it's because Kyrie Irving called me last night. And he's ready for this fight with us. He's staying with us. Actually, he has a representative on their way here right now. He went to the other side of the park, so he'll be here shortly. But I want to make this clear. I'm not a politician. I'm not a doctor. I am not a scientist. I'm a New York City transit worker with common sense, and I am vaccinated, right? So this is not an anti-vax rally. This is a choice rally, a freedom rally.
Yes.
Now, during the darkest times in this city, workers put their lives on the line. When we didn't know what COVID was, when the riots was happening, a lot of people seem to forget about the riots. People put their lives on the line. Now there's a little bit of light. They still trying to show those workers darkness. And we must stop that. Now, we have a mayor, he keeps saying that it's 1,400 people, it's only 1,400 people. Try to minimize, what we going through. But let's put this into perspective. Those 1,400 people take care of people, right? So that 1,400 people turns into 10,000 people that he's affecting. And we must make him realize that. Now, I really don't want to get into the numbers game. I'm going to be very honest. I don't want to get into the numbers game. Whether it's one person or whether it's 1,400. This is the greatest city in the world. This is a united city. An injury to one is an injury to all. Now, the mayor was quoted as saying, we're leading the entire country for the most part in unemployment. Well, Mr. Mayor, you do not fix that by firing people.
That's right.
You do not put out a fire by adding more accelerant to the fire.
That's right.
To my fellow New Yorkers, my friends, my family, my co-workers, my neighbors, we're going to continue to fight for you. We're going to continue to rally for you. You are not alone in this fight. Don't think for 1 second that you are alone. And remember, an injury to one is an injury to all. My phone ringing right now. I think it's Kyrie, to be honest. I was just talking to him on the side. So I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
All right.
Thank you, Vickie.
Now I want to hear from one of our Department of Sanitation, New York's strongest. Come on up, Matt.
Good morning. My name is Matthew Junta. I don't know, did you? I got a loud voice. You know we're on the news.
I do. How's this device?
You want me to use this one?
Yeah, you try again.
Good morning, my name is Matthew Junta.
A little closer.
I've been with the New York City Department of Sanitation for just about 22 years. To be clear, that's half my life.
Hold on.
Try that one?
Yeah.
Try both?
It's like a candy store. Go ahead.
Is that better?
Yeah.
All right.
It's not over.
So, like I said, I've been with the Department of Sanitation for about 22 years. To be clear, that is half my life. Early on in my career, I volunteered to be part of the cleanup at the World Trade Center after 9/11. Years later, after Hurricane Sandy, I worked 12-hour days to help communities recover while going back to a home with no power. And more recently, during the COVID-19 pandemic, I showed up to work 6 days a week, while many New Yorkers work from home. These are just a few of the examples of my dedication to the city of New York, which is why I'm so disappointed that the previous administration, as well as the current, would punish me and others like me by placing us on leave without pay, or even worse, termination, depriving us our right to provide for our families simply because we believe in medical freedom. The previous mayor went as far to say that mandates work, if there is only evidence that blackmail and coercion work best.
That's right.
My religious beliefs have guided me my entire adult life. And what I found to be very unsettling is that my identical twin brother, who's here supporting me today, was granted a religious exemption while I was denied.
Oh my God.
So you'll have to excuse me for having very little faith in the decision-making process. I want to thank everyone for supporting us as we send this very important message to the mayor that these medical mandates are obsolete and out of date.
Tell him, man.
We'll remind them just how valuable essential workers are to the city of New York. You are the true heroes.
Yes.
Sorry about the wind. I would also like to thank Councilmember Paladino for having the compassion and courage to support the men and women who keep this city moving towards excellence with very little recognition. I hope your courage is contagious. Mayor Adams, you have a tremendous opportunity to right a wrong that will put you on the right side of history forever. Don't pass up this opportunity to strengthen your relationship with an army of workers who will be eternally grateful that you made the right decision. Thank you.
All right, that was Matt. He served on the Rock, and well, this is tough. This is really, really tough, and I'm touched by each and every one of you. Next, I want to bring up two people who are going to represent our educators. Come on up. Let's hear for our teachers.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. My name is Akila Norris. I am a teacher, 21 years, from Brooklyn, PS 158. I am a member of Educators for Freedom, a group of teachers who collectively came together to fight the city for our unjust leave of absence and terminations for religious reasons. But it's just so much. It's cold out here, and those mandates are colder. They need to go with this winter, and we need to spring up and revive our city, Mayor Eric Adams, with new life, and you can do that. What's going on? Okay, here I am. Now, a little bit about my story. So, I've been teaching 21 years, and I love my job. You don't become an educator because you don't love it. I worked through the pandemic, day in and day out, not looking at these children like diseases, looking at them as humans, because teachers advance humanity. We create our public officials, we create firemen, we create policemen, we create doctors, we create dancers, we create basketball players. And going to work was no easy task. Because not only am I a teacher, I am a counselor for the parents who suffered, for the other teachers who are suffering. And then they put us on LWOP, which is 124 days since October 1st of LWOP, leave without pay, that I renamed Love Without Parameters. Because in order to do what I am doing, it has to be for the love. And all as educators, all anybody ever wants is to exercise our free will that is given to us from birth. And we want to teach. We want to do what we love without the parameters of a vaccination. And as an educator, you know that you don't teach every child the same. They need individualized plans, and we need individualized vaccination plans. Some of us have them, and some of us don't. And that's okay. Man, listen, I was in Eric's office. A number of us. Eric, I'm sorry I'm on a first name basis with you, but that's how I feel because I've texted you, we texted, and we spoke. And you said that you wanted to have a righteous conversation from your mouth to my ears. And you said that this was wrong. Am I lying?
No, you're not lying.
No, I'm not. And you have the chance to redeem yourself. Restore the faith in the educators that voted for you. We want to respect you. And you can do it. And making it hard, but I believe in revival. So revive this city because you know what it takes to bring us together, and it's a stroke of a pen, and you have that power. Thank you.
What's up, New York City? My name's Michael Kane. I'm the founder of Teachers for Choice. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much for coming out and braving this cold. God bless you all. I'm just here for a quick legal update. Lots of people are talking about suing New York City. Well, we already are. We've been suing them for 6 months. So I'm going to let you know that update. But before I do that, I just want to say one thing. Clearly, we are calling for all city workers to be rehired and to end the mandate. But we're also calling for an end to all private employer mandates. And most important, no forced COVID vaccination for the kids. No. Mayor Adams, it was about 1 year ago during the primary where you indicated you would not have a mandate for employment and you would not have a mandate for the children to attend school. Be a man of your word. Stick with that. You inherited these mandates. We get it. You can step up and be the hero that we know you can be and end it. So end these mandates now. Now for the legal update, here's the basic run of it. There are two main cases. One is a new case for New Yorkers for Religious Freedom. This represents all employees in New York City. There's another set of cases, which is Kane versus de Blasio and Keel versus NYC. They're twin cases. They're running together. That's Educators for Freedom and Teachers for Choice. We've been suing for 6 months. We've had a number of victories. They had to let us reapply for our religious exemption to vaccination in court because they said the process in New York City was unconstitutional. That was admitted in open court. But we still don't have our jobs back. They denied a lot of us, the overwhelming majority. So you know where this is at. The New Yorkers for Religious Freedom lawsuit is currently waiting to hear about a preliminary injunction that is before the court, and hopefully if they get that injunction, they'll have to bring back employees into city jobs. We have to see. In our case, in the Kane versus de Blasio case, Keel versus NYC, we have fought that case so hard and so far that I just spoke to our attorneys today, and they said they are going to be requesting a summary judgment demanding a permanent injunction this week. Now, what that means is they're saying, Your Honors, so clearly this is illegal and unconstitutional what the city is doing. You can't have a temporary injunction on this. You must permanently stop and end these illegal mandates. Now, the court systems are strange. The court's a weird place. But Mayor Adams, we don't need to do this in court. You, Mayor Adams, have the power right now to end this for all of New York. Bring back New York City. Bring back our recovery and show that you represent all of us. God bless you all. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, Michael. Next, I'm going to introduce to you Andrea and Donna. They represent the healthcare workers.
Good morning. Thank you for battling this whole day with us. My name is Andrea, and I am a healthcare worker. I was fired a few months ago because I did not take the COVID shot. My story actually started about 2 years ago in March of 2020, when many healthcare workers got repurposed in the hospitals. I was one of the therapists in the outpatient physical therapy department at Maimonides Medical Center in Brooklyn. When our rehab closed, we were placed in different departments to help out in whatever way we can. I was placed in the patient transport department, which at that point I had no idea what it meant. There was no time for training. I found out my job was to transport the very ill and barely alive patients from the ER to the ICU. What I did not know, and it took about 3 days to find out, that part of my job was also to bring the deceased to the morgue. And when the morgues got full, I brought the bodies to the refrigerated trucks. I spent 3 months there before I was able to return to the outpatient physical therapy department. My story is just one of many. I can guarantee you that every healthcare worker has an amazing story, with endless shifts, exhausting hours of work, with dedication and compassionate work they've been doing. In September of 2021, I was placed on unpaid administrative leave due to not receiving the COVID shot on time. 2 months later, on November 22nd, my position was permanently terminated, and I was told I am causing undue burden to the hospital, and I am a possible health threat to my patients and my colleagues. Now we know this is not true. In New York State, we as healthcare workers also were denied unemployment, so I had no income for 4 months. So I stand here today representing all healthcare workers who not only deserve respect for their hard work and dedication, but we deserve justice. We want to work, and we deserve to be compensated. My message to Maimonides Medical Center and every other hospital and medical facility and nursing homes that fired their healthcare workers because they denied the COVID vaccine is that justice will be served. They will be accountable for their actions. What was done was illegal and unconstitutional. We will not back down, and we will keep fighting until we have our jobs back and have fair compensation paid for the tremendous mental and emotional pain and the financial stressors that were caused for many healthcare workers and their families. We will stand strong in this fight for justice and medical freedom. And Mayor Eric Adams, I'm sorry you inherited this hot mess, but you can do better. And we ask that you use your power and get every healthcare worker back and delete all the mandates. Thank you, and God bless.
Well, good morning, New York. I am Nurse Donna, but I'm more than a nurse. I'm a human being. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, and I'm your neighbor. And I'm just like you. We all have stories. And every healthcare worker who has been in service to humanity for their career, mine is 31 years long, we've all given and sacrificed and seen a lot, and never more than during this pandemic. And there are so many things that I could say here today, but I think the thing that I want to say the most is that, you know, it's hard to imagine how we woke up one day and looked around and said, how could this be America? How could this be New York State, the state that I was born in, bred in, and loved, that I served so many years of my life in? And I will tell you how that is. Our Constitution doesn't exist. It's a piece of paper because politicians have spent their lives lining their pockets, making rules and regulations and circumventing our balances of power. And they have been paid heavily. And the partisan politics must stop. And I thank you, Vickie Paladino, for calling this together today. I thank the everyday Americans that are standing up and running for office and standing up for the people of this country and for the state. And so we have a job to do. We have to continue to work together. We have to continue to stand together and show up for each other and fight. This isn't over, and if Eric Adams lifts every mandate tomorrow, we can't digress. We have only just begun. I don't live or work in the city, but I'm here today standing next to all my brothers and sisters who do. And if Eric Adams lifts that mandate today or tomorrow, it doesn't help me, but it helps my brothers and sisters. And as Tramel said, one impacts all. And so I'm going to leave Eric Adams and all of our politicians across the state and this country with a warning. We're just getting started. We've been asleep for too long because we had it very comfortable. No more. You have truly awoken the sleeping giant. And we're not going to fall for the partisan politics anymore. We are not going to stay divided. We're organizing. The People's Coalition for New York has 90 grassroots groups affiliated with it. Our reach is pushing 500,000 people in this state. If you don't know it, get on it, because we're taking action. And if you do the right thing, we're going to be behind you. Stand for the people. Stand for the people and do the right thing, Eric Adams, and you will be an historic mayor, and God only knows where that will take you, because we will stand behind you. But if you don't stand with the people, this is for every politician, don't stand with the people, you're not going to be there for long. So I thank you all. I thank every single one of you who have shown up all of these months. People have been fighting for far longer than I have, but I just have gotten started. I'm not going away. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'd like to bring up Thomas. He represents the court officers. I did my best to make sure every single body here was represented. Thomas, come on up.
Good morning. I am a vaccinated New York State court officer. I represent the New York State Court Officers Association. We feel that every individual should have a choice to get vaccinated or not. We should have been given the option for weekly testing in the event that you did not want to get the mandate. There are state workers like those in the legislative and the executive branch who were not mandated. They were given the weekly choice to get tested. Why can't we? The courts have been open. We never closed. We worked tirelessly to keep the judicial system running, and it never stopped. Terminating us now will only slow down the judicial process. Our state deserves to have fair and just courthouses. By terminating court employees, the justice system will be negatively affected. We urge our politicians to stop this mandate. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, I'm going to bring Terrell back up. We have somebody we'd like to introduce.
I'm not really, Tramel is not really introducing anyone, but Kyrie was, he held up his word. He did bring a representative here. Brett, you can raise your hand. He did bring a representative to represent him. And I had an in-depth talk with Kyrie yesterday, and like I said, he's ready to put feet to the ground and help us win this war. He said people facing real consequences, and he recognized that, and the fight starts today. We got the resources now. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And Vickie did an excellent job today. Can we please give her a round of applause? I said New York. Can we give Vickie a round of applause? We love you, Vickie.
Well, everybody, I first want to say thank you very much. Thank you very much to each and every one of you. Thank you very much to each and every one of you for your strength and your courage. You are the heartbeat of New York City. And during the last 2 years, we've slowly watched our heartbeat stop. Well, we're back. We have a new administration. And I'm part of that administration. I've heard you call out, of course, about politicians. You know, when people say, you're a politician. I am not a politician. I am you, and you are me. When I ran for office, I ran to represent the people of New York City. You see, I was born and raised here. I love this place, and I'm on my 3rd job, I tell everybody. You see, you pay my salary. Your taxpayer dollars pay every person who's employed by the City of New York in the government offices. You pay their salaries. When people say to me, Vickie, what are you going to do in your position? They know I have a voice. I was never quiet. I was always an activist of sorts, and I stand proud about that because I ran for the people. I run by the people. We the people. And I said to many who asked, that I'm going to go into this with an open heart and an open mind because I believe everybody deserves a shot. And I looked at Mayor Eric Adams, he won. He's our new mayor. I believe in treating those in such authority, this is the greatest city on earth, with the respect that they deserve. I'm not here to disrespect the mayor. I am here to call out to the mayor. I am here to plead out to the mayor. You see, Mayor Adams, I sit in the chambers every other week, and I have a job to do. So I'm going to call upon you to rise up, and give these people back their well-deserved jobs. This is all they want. I'd like to say thank you, everybody, for coming out. This has been a cold day, but filled with warm hearts. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all. God bless you. God bless New York City. And let's bring it back. Thank you very, very
The council member will now take questions from the press.
Do I have any questions? I know I did a few interviews before I got up here. If anybody from the press has a question for me, I'd be happy to take it. Okay, so there's no questions from the press? You do? Yes. Yeah. Who do you represent?
NYC for yourself.
NYC for yourself? Okay, go ahead.
What would you like to see happen for people affected by these private employer mandates?
What do I like to see? What?
Happen for them.
For the private employer mandates.
They got to roll back the mandates. All mandates need to be rolled back. And rehire, of course. And that's what we're here for today. And to reinstate.
And compensate.
Yes.
It's right there, summarized right there.
Does anybody know the number of lawsuits in the works? Around 6. At least 6.
Those are the big ones anyway.
Those are the big ones. Leroy.
Would you help the firefighters like get to the bottom of this? People are losing lives and they're stating it's from the vaccine. What are you going to do about that?
Well, I'm not a doctor. They have had, this is something that the firefighters will handle on their own. I will stand by anything, but you know what? It's science. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. If they say they've lost their lives, the doctors will tell them so. They've had to have autopsies, but that's not for me to answer. Next.
Nobody from the press has a question? Nobody.
Yes, everybody did an interview. They did an interview early on. So I want to thank everybody for coming. Warm up, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.
All the speakers.
I just got one thing to say for any educators or anybody that's heard about the serving of the Department of Health with the notice of liability. Come right over here. They're handing out the templates. New York du jour has handled this. They do some really, really great work on common law. Your choice if you want to do that. Thank you so much.
Firefighters, I want you to hang back and we're going to take a picture at the Unisphere together. All the firefighters, come back to the Unisphere. We're going to take a picture together.
So they're handing out the templates.
It's amazing.
Hi, honey.
It was good seeing you. But every time I did, Sunday night, Monday day, tomorrow night, Thursday day, Friday night.